Hey there! Welcome to Above the Noise with the Profitability Pathmaker. I'm Christy Wilson, your host, friend, and guide on this exciting journey we're about to embark on together. If you've got big dreams of scaling your business, innovating like a pro, and creating a personal brand that sticks, well, you're in exactly the right place. As someone who's navigated the highs and lows of business growth, I'm here to share not just my insights, but also wisdom from the forefront of entrepreneurship and innovation. From the essentials of starting small to the complexities of venture capital, tech advancements, and the art of personal branding, we're diving deep into what it really takes to stand out and succeed in today's fast-paced world. This podcast is for the bold and the ambitious, from startup founders to C-level executives looking to elevate their business. So join us as we explore actionable strategies, practical tips, and real-world success stories designed to inspire and empower you. So grab your favorite cup of coffee and let's cut through the noise together. It's time to make your business not just seen, but truly memorable. Are you ready to dive in? Let's go. Welcome back to Above the Noise with Josh and Christy Wilson. Although today you're just with Christy. Josh had to travel for work. So unfortunately you're stuck with just me this time, but he will be back next week. So today, as promised, though, we are still going to cover a huge topic that surrounds sales and small business owners. The price objection, right? It's one of the most common objections that I'm told small business owners hear. And when someone says it's too expensive or, I just don't know if I can afford that, that can feel very awkward or uncomfortable. So my hope for you is that by the end of today's episode, you'll know how to handle that price objection that comes up with confidence and without feeling like you're pushing someone into something, trying to convince them, trying to talk them into it, right? We're talking them through things, not into things. Okay. So we're going to talk about the breakdown of why this objection happens and really how to navigate that in a way that helps the potential client or the potential customer understand that true value of what they're investing in, right? So even without Josh, we are going to have a fantastic episode and I will try to keep it short for you and hopefully you will attain a lot of value from this. So let's jump right in. Again, the biggest thing I hear is that business owners really dread sales. They dread discovery calls, and part of why they dread them, aside from what we've already discussed in previous episodes, is that they're fearful that they're not going to know how to handle or how to respond to objections that occur throughout that conversation. Because remember, that's what it is, a conversation. And then it becomes this uncomfortable back and forth, or maybe just a back, because, we have business owners that don't even know how to respond at all. They don't know what to say when someone says, that sounds like a lot of money, or that's too much. So let's talk about why the price objection happens, first of all. So when someone says, well, it's just too expensive, it's usually one of three things. Number one, they don't see the value of what they're getting, right? It doesn't seem like enough value for what they're paying. It's not that the price is too high necessarily. It's they don't see that they're getting enough value for the price they're paying. Okay, so we'll clarify that. Number two, they don't have the confidence in themselves that they're going to be able to achieve these results. Maybe they've had poor experiences before. They haven't been able to do it. So they're leery about being able to achieve the results after investing the time and the money. Number three, they're not sure that you are the person who can help them get there. So before we address these three main reasons behind why someone would give you that price objection, I want to talk about a really important point. Sometimes it really isn't about the value or the results. It really is about affordability. But that's very, it's just not likely, right? I don't see it often. It's very rare that comes up. So I would suggest, of course, in the beginning, when you approach that piece of the conversation, if it comes up, you can definitely still filter for affordability. And we'll talk about what that means. But I found in my experience and in the experiences of working with thousands of clients that 95% of the time, it's not that they can't afford it, it's that they don't see that return on investment that's there. Right? So when I sense that affordability might be a real issue, and that's usually a problem within your filtering and your marketing, but you might get a few that jump on the call and it really is an issue, I will ask a question around it, such as, tell me, is this investment going to affect your ability to pay your bills? Or is this going to affect your ability to pay the business's bills? If the answer is yes, then it may not be a value issue. They may really not have any money to invest in this. And chances are, if we reworked some other things, they would have the money to prioritize if they saw enough value. So that's not even always the case. But if they tell me, Christy, I can't pay my business bills or my personal bills if I do this, that's just their financial reality. So at that point, I respectfully let them know that this does not sound like the right time for them to make that investment, right? That's okay. You don't want to waste any more of their time. You don't want to waste any of your time. And certainly, we don't want to put somebody in a position where we're making things worse and we can't, they cannot pay the bills or they're going into huge debt that they can't dig out of unless you're going to be able to offer enough of a return around it to make it worthwhile to take that debt out, right? You're not trying to push them into a sale. You're trying to make sure they're in a position where they can invest in this solution. They can invest in themselves. They can invest in your particular outcome, right? As long as you can provide that. And if they can't do that, then this isn't going to be a good long-term fit. Anyhow, those are not the customers that we are targeting. And then you also want to revisit the targeting around your marketing. You want, again, that marketing magnet. You want to revisit that and see if there's something that needs to be adjusted in that filtering process. Again, you might get a handful of people where this is the case, but I've found more times than not, it is not, I can't afford it. It's, I don't see the value to afford that. So if that's the case, and they tell me they truly can't afford it, they just don't have the money, they don't have access to funding, they don't have what they need to go forward, I'll say something like, I completely understand. It sounds like this may not be the right time for you to make this investment, and that's totally okay. Right? So we want to respect where they are financially if that is the case. And we want to quickly close that call up, wrap it up, because again, that's not the business that you're looking to target. Right? And that's not going to lead to a long-term relationship. It's not going to allow you to produce the results for them that are necessary. And so it's just not going to be a good fit. So you just respectfully wrap up that piece of the call, right? So again, that's very rare, but if that happens, we'll start with that. That's usually what I say to wrap that call up and be able to move forward. Okay, now let's get on to the 95% of the time that they can afford it, but they're showing hesitancy around moving forward, right, into that onboarding process. And that's usually because they just don't fully understand the results that they're going to get, or they don't see, you haven't painted the picture. You have not mapped out for them effectively how you intend to walk them through or guide them to that end outcome, those end results, that transformation, right? We're selling transformations, we're selling outcomes, we're selling results. We're not selling products and services. So if they don't understand that, then of course they're not going to move forward, right? It's not about selling a number of calls when it comes to coaching, or selling a platform, or selling a bunch of features and benefits, right? It's not about, for me, when I'm coaching someone, it's definitely never about selling an amount of time together. It's about selling the end result, that transformation that they're coming to you for. They want what you have to offer. They want that end result. So when someone says it's too expensive, I like to take that time, once I've ruled out that they can afford it, it's not an affordability issue, I like to dig deeper and ask something like, can you tell me a little bit more about what's making you feel like this is too expensive? And you can even segue into that with, would you be open to discussing this a little further? And when they say yes, then, tell me a little bit more about what's making you feel like this is too expensive. That's going to help me to understand where they're coming from. If they're not seeing the value yet, did I not do a good enough job of understanding what the end outcome they desire is, and then mapping it out for them on how I intend to guide them there, how we're going to get there, right? If they're not seeing the value yet, I then guide the conversation toward the results they want, whether that's growing their business, increasing their income, gaining more freedom, more time, because again, time is a resource that we don't get more of. We can't replenish it. So that's important. And more likely for most business owners, it's all three of those things, right? We want to grow the business by increasing the revenue and profits, their income, and then gaining more freedom to work on the business instead of in it. The focus is always, always, always on the end result, never the logistics, and never the features and benefits. The mapping out the logistics around it and the mapping out the blueprint of how we're going to get there is extremely important in building the confidence so that they know you know what you're talking about and you can achieve that, but that's not what you're selling. That's how you're getting to what you're selling. So in this case, I may say something like, let's revisit the result you're looking to achieve, or let's talk a little bit more about that result, whatever it was, insert it there, that you're looking to achieve. Let's talk more about what you're looking to do in regard to increasing your income. Let's talk more about the fact that, let's dive into describing again how we're going to get to increasing your income while giving you more freedom over your time, right? Talking about how we get there. That's where the blueprint comes in. The key is to keep that focus, though, on the outcome, not on just the features and benefits. The features and benefits just map out for them the fact that you're able to guide them to the end result, right? You're positioning the investment as a pathway to their transformation. It's not, again, for when I'm selling a coaching package, I'm never selling a series of meetings. I'm never selling my time. I'm never selling 24 coaching sessions. I'm never selling 3 months of coaching sessions. I'm selling them the result they're looking for within their business or within their life. And then I'm mapping out the pathway. I'm positioning the pathway of how we're going to get there together, right? A second thing that I see a lot of is really confidence in themselves to achieve the end result, to get to that outcome that they came here for. right? And this comes in a lot of times when they have tried many things themselves, or maybe they've even tried other people, and we'll get to that one next. But maybe they've tried many different ways themselves, platforms, whatever it might be, and there's hesitation because they don't have that confidence in themselves because the things they've tried in the past have not worked for them. So now they're sitting here wondering, are they really going to be able to get to the end result, to the transformation? So when I sense something like this, I will oftentimes say something like, okay, so it sounds like you're concerned about whether you're going to be able to achieve X results, and insert whatever it is, right? And you're going to open it up with that. So it sounds like you're concerned about whether you're going to be able to really increase your profits by 30% while actually gaining 10 hours back a week. So let's talk a little bit. Are you open to talking a little bit more about that? And when they say yes, great. Let's discuss a little more about what's holding you back, the specifics around it. And then at that point, you're going to talk back through with them the things that have worked in the past, what hasn't worked in the past. We're going to explore that a little bit deeper so that I can then understand where the fear comes in and address it head on, right? And that's where I actually explain why this time is different. I have to map that out too. And again, if you're doing this throughout the discovery call, you're going to have less objections around the price. Okay, if you're already explaining how you're going to get them to their end result and you're discussing that end result and that's what they want, you're not going to have a lot of objections that come up. But if you do need to go back and revisit this, you might need to help them talk through why it's different this time and show them that they do have the ability to succeed with the right guidance, right? So you're going to work with them and talk it through. And don't be afraid to ask more questions. Let them do 80% of the talking. You're there to reinforce and provide that confidence they need to be able to make the decision themselves, to get to the point where they are ready. They're feeling empowered. They're ready to make the decision to move forward, right? Okay. And then a third objection, or a third reason for the price objection that I see most frequently is that sometimes they're not sure if you can help them get the results they want, right? And this often happens if, number one, you're newer, they're unfamiliar with your track record, they're unfamiliar with your process, which is why that mapping it out blueprint piece of the discovery call becomes so important. You want to be able to show them that they should have the confidence in you. You know exactly what you're talking about. You know exactly how to get them there. Here's the plan, high level overview. You're not coaching them. You're giving them the plan. You're giving them the solution. And at this point, if this comes back up, you can always say, would it help if I shared a little bit more about how I've helped others achieve similar results, or how I helped someone in a very similar situation, you might say what profession it is, achieve these results or get to this end result. This is going to help build that trust and credibility. It's not about convincing them to say yes and just move forward. You're just giving them the proof they need to feel confident in you as the provider of their solution, as the deliverer of their transformation, as the person who can get them to that end result that they so desire. So again, in that case, you might want to do that. You might also want to say, if they're worried about the process, maybe it doesn't have to do with social proof. They're worried about the process. Would it help if we talked through my process a little bit more? If I broke it down a little clearer for you, or went over some things that you're concerned about, so that we can make sure that we have the exact map to get you to that result, right? So again, the key takeaway here is to focus on results. The conversation should be focused around the end result and the map of how they're going to get there, the path to that end result. Should not be focused on you're selling a service, you're not selling features and benefits, you're not selling your time. That's where people make the mistake of trying to address that objection with those things. So by addressing their concerns around the confidence in you, in themselves, and reinforcing exactly what they're getting, that end result that you can deliver, as long as you can deliver it, then you can guide the conversation toward that real value that they're going to get out of working with you or working with your solution, your platform, your service, your company, right? Pardon. And if you're getting too many objections about price, again, it's a sign that you may need to tweak your marketing. Your marketing is your magnet, right? Or maybe your qualification process. Your marketing should be targeting, most of the time, people that want what you have. They see that end result. They understand the value in it. And it's your job to map out how they're going to get there and paint a picture of that ultimate dream they're working toward, that vision. Right? So if your marketing magnet is not set right and you're attracting the wrong individuals or companies in, or you're not qualifying the right to get to the right people during your process, then it's going to be a lot harder because you're going to receive many more objections when you're in that discovery call. Right. And now if you get to the point, a lot of people ask, well, how do you exit if you get to the point where it's clear they're not ready to see the investment, right? Or believe they can do it. So if that's clear and this doesn't feel like a good fit for them or you, I'll wrap the call up because I don't want to waste anybody's time any more than I have to, right? Time is a resource I can't get back. I don't want to spend any more than I have to. So I'll say something along the lines of, absolutely, thank you for sharing that. I completely understand if this doesn't feel like the right time for you. So thank you for having this conversation with me. And I look forward to being able to partner together in the future, right? And so you can still end on a respectful note. It's not awkward. It's not weird. Even if you determine at some point during the call that it really just isn't the right fit. There are going to be a handful of people that, no matter what it is, they're not ready to see the investment, or maybe they're not ready to take the steps that they need to take. So in my case, when I am providing someone with an end result, they want to increase their revenue and therefore their profit margin. At that point, if they do not feel that they are ready to take the steps that I'm mapping out, they don't have that time to invest, they don't want to, they see the value, but they don't want it enough, right? If that's the case, then obviously they're not going to get a good end result. And I certainly don't want that. So in that case, I'll respectfully wrap up that call if it really isn't a good fit, because a discovery call, really the mindset going in, again, is to focus on the other individual, the other company, the other person, the results that you're giving to them, not focus on yourself and I need to make the sale. Right? Or I'm going in here with this mindset of I'm here to make a sale. I'm here to close a deal. Instead, go in with I'm here to help so-and-so achieve XYZ. So when you go in with that mindset, it's a little bit different throughout the call. It removes a lot of the ick factor. It also allows for the conversation to flow a little smoother. And I've found that when my marketing magnet is correct and I'm attracting the right people, right? And I'm getting into the call and I'm actually going through and discovering the exact vision that they have, their dream. And I am able to then map out a plan to get there and I can communicate that to them, I can show them the steps or the path to get to that desired outcome, that transformation, then I'll be honest, I don't really get a lot of the price objection at that point. And I can tell you that by using the discovery call flow, I hate calling it a script because I never script it out, right? It should be customized to that person. It should be focused around their dream, their vision, and their why behind it. And then it should be a custom tailored approach, a plan that you map out a blueprint that's just for them to reach that. Now, you may use similar processes that have worked each time. You may have a process in place that is very effective, but it's still going to need to be customized to fit that particular situation. So when you go into it with that mindset, and that's really what you're working through, you understand that you are there to help empower them to make the decision to reach the outcome or the desired transformation that they're wanting, right? So you're not there to convince. You're not there to push a product. We're not there for Christy. We're not there for you. We're not there for this platform. We're there for getting them to exactly what they want, that end result, that outcome. That's what we're there for. And we're there as their guide. And as their guide, we should be mapping out for them to build that confidence in us, in our services, our solutions, in themselves, right? And so that they are willing to invest in their ability to work with you, to partner with you, to get to the end result. And so we're there as an empowerment guide, if you will. That is my job during the call. I'm not looking to sneak something in. I'm not looking to manipulate someone. I'm not looking to persuade or convince someone. I'm going in, talking to people, or 95% of the time, talking to people that want exactly what I'm offering. You want this in your business. I can get you there. I've done it a billion times. I can show you exactly how we've helped very similar people, right, to get to there. I can show you my process. I can talk through it. I can answer the questions. I'm confident in that. And my goal is to help you talk through any objections you may already have in your mind. And really, this should be done throughout the discovery call flow, throughout that process. When you're already addressing it proactively and you're helping them to talk through it, I would say that a big chunk of the time, I'm not getting an objection at that point. They're either moving forward or we're identifying early on that it is not a good fit at this time for them, right? And so there is no ick factor. There is no hard sales close. There is no assume the sale and just push them forward. No, I want them to make the choice. I want to guide them, to show them why this is the perfect opportunity for them to achieve their dream, to get to their dream, their vision, that transformation. So I'm really acting as a guide throughout. And with that mindset, the call flows easier, the pressure's removed, the guards come down pretty early on in the call, and I don't have to worry about how I'm going to convince or where I'm going to slip this in. I follow the flow. A large portion of the time, we move forward to onboarding right there. There is a small percentage of the time that there are objections that come up, and we'll talk through some more next time, but price is what we talked about today. And then at that point, it's like starting another section of the discovery call. It's another discovery process, right? I need to now understand which of the three reasons or drivers are causing them to be hesitant around the price. And really that means the value, right? Understanding and getting to that end result. That we are now going to dig in and discover why
what's holding them back? What's actually driving the objection? Once I get to that, now it's easy for me to talk through with them exactly what they're thinking, help them talk through it, work through it, guide them to show them, here's that value. Here's what it's worth. I mean, I'm confident in my services. I know what they are. I know what we can achieve. So I understand the value, and I'm going to try to ensure that they understand that value as well. Number two, I'm going to help build confidence within them and empower them to be able to make the choice to step forward and move past the fear and move forward. And a lot of times, if you can offer a guarantee around it like we do with our services, then it's going to be a little easier. It takes a lot of the risk out of them moving forward. And then also, I build that confidence in me as we're going through the discovery call, or maybe I need to reiterate it by showing additional examples, by providing other testimonials, by letting them know that, hey, I understand completely where you're going. I know the exact path to get there, and I've done it before, and here's how. Here's my process, and here's who I've helped. So if you can get to the root of it, it's easier to help them talk through. And you don't have to be pushy. You don't have to be abrasive about it, aggressive. You can just always move forward, just like you do in the regular discovery call, in that flow with, would you be open to, and 99% of the time they're going to say yes. Would you be open to discussing whatever it is we're talking about? And if they are, then great. You can move forward and start digging in and discovering again. It's like discovery all over again, so that you can again go back and really drive home the value and the confidence, build the confidence within you and build the confidence within themselves. Empower them to make the choice. That's your goal. Your goal is to be a guide to empower them to take the step forward, motivate them to take that step to be able to reach their ultimate dream or their ultimate goal. So I hope this was helpful. That is how I handle the price objection without being pushy, without being deceitful, without being manipulative. It's digging back in using a few key phrases to dive back into discovery. And again, empowering them to make the decision by saying, are you open to discussing that a little bit further? Great. Now I can ask you a question around it. And again, they should be telling you, they should be talking 80% of the time. You should be talking 20% of the time. And throughout that process, you're helping guide them to work through any concerns, questions, outstanding, non-resolved items around taking that step. That's your goal, is to guide them through that and help them talk themselves through it and help to empower them to take the step and inspire them, motivate them to understand, yeah, I can do this and I can reach that ultimate desire, that outcome. So again, hope this is helpful. Next time, Josh will be back, so it won't just be Christy monologuing, but hopefully you still found it helpful, and we will see you again next week on Above the Noise.
And that wraps up another empowering episode of Above the Noise with the Profitability Pathmaker. I'm Christy Wilson, and it's been an absolute pleasure to share this time with you. I hope today's journey has armed you with valuable insights and strategies to propel your business and personal brand to the next level. Remember, every setback is just a setup for a comeback. So keep pushing, keep dreaming, and never be afraid to be a little loud about your goals. We've got a whole world to impress, and I can't wait to see where your journey takes you next. Until next time, keep making waves and rising above the noise. Cheers to your success, and I'll see you on the next episode.